Hey everybody, this is Ivan from Men Without Hats, and I'm the next guest on Screen and Beyond.
On Screen and Beyond, an inside look into the entertainment world featuring interviews with people from the movie, TV, and music industry, news on upcoming TV and DVD releases, and the rumor mill. And now, here's the host of On Screen and Beyond, Brian Zemrak.
Welcome and thank you for joining me for another edition of On Screen and Beyond. And this is the show that brings you a celebrity guest each week from the movie, TV, or music industry, as well as keeping you updated on what's coming your way as far as remakes, sequels, prequels, upcoming new movies, TV and movie DVD releases, and the rumor mill. This week's guest on Screen and Beyond, episode 746. And by the way, I'm your host, Brian Zemrak. And our guest this week is going to be taking us back to the 80s. That's right. He's Ivan Doroschuk from the band Men Without Hats, who gave us the safety dance in the 80s. And Ivan has a lot going on, and we will learn more of what he has coming up in just a few minutes right here on Screen and Beyond. But first, we have all kinds of interesting entertainment news coming your way. I also hope that you subscribe or follow to On Screen and Beyond on your favorite podcast provider. Platform, whichever, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. We're all over the place, but get all of the new episodes as soon as they get released, okay? And don't miss out on a single one because we have a lot of fascinating guests coming your way. And while you're at it, if you could tell a friend about On Screen and Beyond, share our posts when we post something about who our guests are and everything, that would help us out a lot. And also, they'll get to enjoy and see some of their favorite celebrity guests, talk about their careers and things. So I hope you'll do that for us. That helps us out a lot. And you could subscribe to whatever podcast provider, like I said, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Amazon, Alexa, Podbeam, or Spotify, if you're listening to the audio version, or if you want to hear or see the video version, you can catch that on Spotify or on YouTube right now. Those are the two that we are on for the video versions. Hope you're checking those out. And if you have a question or suggestion for a guest, email me at feedback@onscreenandbeyond.com. I'm currently looking for, a connection to several suggestions that we've got. A lot of good suggestions, and I appreciate you doing that. And we'll see if I can get these people on. Those of you that have sent in, you know who I'm talking about, okay? But we'll see what we can do. Some of them are, give me some tough ones there to, to try to connect with, but we'll see if we can get them. And thank you so much for sending those in. It's great suggestions, and keep it up if you do have a suggestion. If you have a connection with somebody, that even helps out a lot more. And why don't we get right into it? Men Without Hats, Ivan Doroschuk is coming up in a few minutes. But let's get started. It's time for remakes, sequels, and prequels on Screen and Beyond.
Please hang up and try again.
Remakes, sequels, and prequels, the re-imaging, reboot, remake, whatever you want to call it, it's in the works for Night at the Museum. And those films, a lot of fun. And the writer is on board for the task. So they are moving along with this. We've talked about it before, but it seems to now be edging forward. So we'll keep you updated on that. Wake Up Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery, will premiere at the London Film Festival in October and will land on Netflix in December, exactly December 12th. Daniel Craig also stars once again alongside an all-star cast like they've done in the past. Simone Ashley of Bridgerton fame has joined the cast of The Devil Wears Prada 2. And it's one of those movies where they keep adding more people all the time, slowly. Just to keep us informed. And the latest remake of The Mummy, called Lee Cronin's The Mummy, has added Hayat Kamili. And she was from Vikings Valhalla. She's been added to the cast. And Chris Pratt will return as the voice of Garfield in the sequel to the Garfield movie, which was out last year. And that's it for remakes, sequels, and prequels. Coming up next on Screen and Beyond, it is upcoming new movies. Upcoming new movies, You Deserve Each Other is a new rom-com coming our way with Natalie Morales, Justin Long, Kyle MacLachlan. They're all starring in it. It's based on the best-selling novel. And Vanessa Hudgens will star in a dramatic thriller set in the 60s called Quiet Storm. And Ben Radcliffe, one of the stars of Masters of the Air, has joined the cast of a ghost movie set in the 14th century called The Faces of Horror. That's it for upcoming new movies. Let's take a look at movies and TV on DVD and streaming. Movies and TV on DVD and streaming. July 17th is the day that The Amateur with Rami Malek will begin streaming on Disney Plus and Hulu. The Boys Season 4 will arrive on DVD and Blu-ray on August 19th. Karate Kid Legends goes DVD, Blu-ray, 4K Ultra HD on August 26th. And the 30th anniversary of 1990's remake. Now, okay, this is the remake of Night of the Living Dead, not the original. And it's an uncut version. It drags on to 4K Ultra HD Edition Steelbook on September 23rd. And on September 16th, Krull debuts on 4K Ultra HD Limited Edition Steelbook also. And that's it for movies and TV on DVD and streaming. It's TV and entertainment time. TV and entertainment time. Duster has been canceled over at HBO Max. It's HBO Max now. It's not Max. They changed it. And that's just after one season that Duster has been canceled. Paul McCartney has announced more tour dates for his continuing Got Back tour. It seems like it's never ending. This time in North America. Tickets go on sale on July 18th. And it includes stops in Chicago, Denver, Montreal, Atlanta, Las Vegas, and others. And two-time Oscar winner Michael Douglas says, unless something special comes up, now that's in quotes, he has, more quotes, no real intentions of acting in the future. And sadly, Julian McMahon of Nip Tuck fame has passed at the age of 56. And Michael Masden, who was a past guest here at On Screen and Beyond on episode 321, has also passed. And you can hear my interview with Michael if you go to, like I said, episode 321. He's a very interesting guy, and I think you'll enjoy that. So if you haven't checked it out, go ahead and check that one out. And that's it for TV and entertainment time. It's time for our next guest, who will transport us back to the 80s when MTV ruled and actually showed videos. And it's Ivan Doroschuk of Men Without Hats is next, right here on Screen and Beyond. Joining us today on Screen and Beyond, our guest is the founder and lead singer of the band Men Without Hats, that in the 80s had constant airplay on MTV with their hit song Safety Dance. They continued with more hits, including Pop Goes the World, and even received a Grammy nomination in 1983. He continues to lead the band with a new single released called I Love the 80s, and an upcoming European tour, a new album on the way, and so much more. It's Ivan Doroschuk. Ivan, welcome to On Screen and Beyond.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Now, when I think of MTV, I think of Safety Dance. I mean, it's just a song that seemed to be always, constantly on.
Yeah. Well, they didn't have too many videos to play back in those days. We were lucky.
Yeah. Well, that was MTV was the, they actually showed videos. Nowadays, they don't do that anymore. but
they were just starting, and they only had about 10 videos in their catalog. So we got heavy rotation back in those days. It's one of the things that helped make the song what it is.
Yeah, yeah. When you look back, does it seem like it was that long ago that you were doing that song?
Not really. It's we've been on the road now. I put the band back together about almost 15 years ago now, and we've been on the road constantly. And time flies, and when you're having fun, and it doesn't seem that long ago. No, it's especially when I watch the video. The video is kind of timeless. That was one of the good things about that video, is You can look at some videos from the '80s and you can kind of chuckle and
Right.
look at the hair and the clothing and this and that. But when you watch the safety dance video, it's kind of timeless. It's like watching a Western or something. You can't really the pinpoint the time it was made. So I think
Yeah.
that added to the longevity of the song too.
Yeah. And it's just a fun song. You know, I mean,
It
so many
is.
songs are, I don't know, they depress you or whatever. But that song was just, a happy-go-lucky song.
Yeah, I think the message of it is one of the reasons why people are still listening to it today. I think people still need to hear that they can dance if they want to, and but that was one of the things about Men Without Hats is we tried to get, a somewhat serious message across, but in a fun way. We
Mhm.
didn't want to get too heavy with people, and so that was a message about peer pressure, about just doing your own thing and not succumbing to what the crowd is telling you, and especially today with the social media and things like that, it's especially relevant today. So it's good.
Yeah. Now, did you guys write that song or was that written by somebody else?
No, I wrote that all by myself actually. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, what about the new song? I love the 80s. Did you write that one?
I did. It was produced by Brian Howes, and we just wanted to make to write a song that was kind of reminiscent of Safety Dance and of Pop Goes the World, and to fit up with there. Those songs have become somewhat of anthems for that generation. So we wanted to create a kind of a new anthem for the Gen Xers, for the '80s people and beyond too.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, whenever I have somebody from the 80s, whether it's a TV show, a movie, or music on the show, the downloads just go crazy because people love the 80s. Just like your song says.
Yeah, they do. It was a fun time. It brings back a lot of good memories for people. I mean, there was, it wasn't all fun and games. It was the Reagan Thatcher era, so there was a lot of controversy in the streets, but it was a new time. It was new technology. There was new music, new clothing, new art, new video, and it was focused on the youth too. It was a decade that was focused on teenagers, basically, even more than the '60s and the '50s.
Mhm.
It seemed to be exclusively, the movies, the Breakfast Club, Ferris Bueller, like all these movies. It was just geared towards kids and having a good time.
As before we go too much into your new stuff, I'd like to go back to the history of the band to get people who may not know things about you. But when you first started, was it just a bunch of guys getting together that from high school or something? How did you guys meet and get together?
Well, I started the band with my brothers. Actually, it was come from a very musical family. My mother was a music teacher at the university and where we grew up. We grew up in Montreal. We were born in the States, but we all grew up in Montreal. And my mother was a music teacher at McGill University in Montreal. And so we had music all throughout my whole life. I grew up taking piano lessons and just listening to music. I was surrounded by music. My father was an amateur musician also. And so I started the band with my brothers, and it kind of evolved beyond that, and the members changed. But the core band was my brothers and myself, and but it started off as a punk band. We started off as a punk guitar band,
Hmm.
and then I made the conscious decision to if I wanted to reach more people, I should switch to keyboards. I was since I was a trained pianist to get into synthesizers. Synthesizers were also very new back then. And I was a product of the '70s. I grew up listening to a lot of progressive rock music, keyboard bands like Genesis and Pink Floyd and Yes. And I was also front and center with the disco movement. So I've always said that for me, new wave music was a combination of progressive rock music and disco. It was synthesizer music you could dance to.
Yeah.
And that's what I brought to the table.
when people turn around and say, oh, well, that was disco or this was punk rock or this was rock or classic rock or whatever. I mean, to me, it's music. If it's good, it's good. Doesn't make any difference what category you want to put it in. It's
Yeah.
just, just if it's enjoyable and you like it, then, it's great music.
Yeah. Especially back then in the 80s. I mean, there was one bin in the back of the record store. It was the punk new wave bin. And so it was all kind of lumped together. And that's how it was in the shows too. Like the venues that we played at back then, we shared the stage with punk bands and new wave bands all played together. There was no real difference. It was a spirit of DIY too, do it yourself. You didn't have to be a virtuoso on your instrument to to be in a band back, in the 80s. It was kind of a we're kind of thumbing our noses up at the classic rock bands who had turned into dinosaurs at the end of the 70s, and so all you needed was a good idea. You just needed an instrument and a good idea, and you could put a band together in no time. And that's what happened. It was a lot of fresh ideas, a lot of new ideas, and it was fun. It was a lot of experimentation, a lot of innovation, a lot of exploration. It was good. It was fun.
Hi, this is Dave Thomas on Screen and Beyond.
Yeah. Could you see yourself doing anything other than music?
Not really. I was actually, when I started the band, I was studying law.
Wow.
I was in my doing my first year of law studies when the year that punk broke. So and
The singing lawyer.
that's it. That's it. I should have stayed a lawyer. I tell you, would have come in handy in this business. That's for sure.
Now, did your mind, when you were doing contracts and things like that, was your mind thinking about, okay, if I was the full-fledged lawyer and gone to the bar, you know, I would have done this. And so is that how you handled the band, or did you let
Well,
somebody else take care of
I
that?
let somebody else do it. I was concentrating on the music side of it and everything. So
Yeah.
on the performance side, we had other people doing that for us.
Yeah. Now, I know in a couple of years back, you did I don't know if you want to call it a remake or a new version of the safety dance called No Friend of Mine.
Yeah.
And that's a great version. I mean, it's it's a mellow song. It's different, but it's very nice.
Yeah, it's kind of when we wrote that, we had I had in mind sort of revisiting the village where we shot the safety dance, and the little dwarf was the mayor of the town, and he was married to the crazy blonde girl, and they had a big family of kids that played in the band. It was kind of just the same spirit, but just 40 years down the road.
Right.
What happened, and so it was good. We play that one live,
Hmm.
and people enjoy it a lot. That brings a smile to people's faces when they hear the opening lyrics. So,
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. Yeah. Now, when you mentioned being seeing people smile and things like that, and I've said this many times to different artists who have been on the show, but it must really feel good to you when you're singing these songs, when you start singing Safety Dance or Pop Goes the World or whatever, and their faces just light right up. You must
oh yeah,
really like that.
oh I do. It's the fuel that keeps us going. I mean, that's people ask me often, don't you ever get sick of singing? How many times have you sang that song? And I go, no, I enjoy it more and more. The more I sing it, the more I enjoy it, because I just love seeing the joy that it brings to people. The song is almost, especially Safety Dance, it's almost bigger than the band. It almost doesn't belong to us anymore. It belongs to everybody, and I feel sometimes like a musical museum curator going around, traveling around the world, sort of presenting this musical artifact that brings immense joy to people.
Mhm.
And but that's it, and especially now that we get to see our original fans when we play, but since we've been blessed with being able to sort of cross generations, the song has embedded itself into popular culture with the shows like The Simpsons Family Guy and a show like Glee brought us a whole new generation of listeners. So we get our original fans, and they'll bring their kids and sometimes even their grandkids, and it's a real family affair, and everybody's just having a good time.
Mhm.
I no, I love it. I love it. You know, that's people of all ages really enjoy the '80s. I hear a lot of '80s influences in contemporary pop music today too. You know, you hear the big drum sounds, the synthesizers,
Mhm.
robot voices. You know, so the kids today can relate to it, and you know, I find we have a it's a multi-generational thing now. It's really good. We were blessed.
Yeah. And so many artists, you know, are singing their old songs and people are enjoying them. And I think the only person I can think of that I've ever heard that didn't like doing the old songs was Ricky Nelson. If you remember the Garden Party song, you know, and he
Yeah,
said that
for
that's
sure.
I'd rather drive a truck and all that stuff. And but I don't know. I don't know why he felt that way because everybody, you know, just loves to hear these songs and bring back good memories, you know.
Oh yeah. Well, back in the days, I mean, I must admit that in the '80s, when I was starting off, I always wanted to play new music. You know, when you're a
Hmm.
young artist, you always want to play the new stuff, and you couldn't understand why people are yelling for your old albums because you're so convinced that your new stuff is far superior. But now, like, quite a few decades later, we understand it now and perfectly, and so especially we play a lot of '80s package tours with other '80s bands, and the crowds just love it because they get like 2 or 3 hours of it's a greatest hits. They get
Right.
they get the songs that they want to hear from the their favorite bands, and nobody's out there promoting a new album. Everybody's just delivering what the people expect them to do. So it's great, and we've all fully understood that now, and
Yeah.
it's a lot. It's this. I love touring with these '80s bands too because back in the days, I would sort of liken it to being on a sports team, being on a hockey team or something like that. You travel around the country and you compete against other bands. You're competing for places to play. You're competing for positions in the charts. You're competing for press. There's only
Hmm.
so many people that can talk to, and so there's a lot of competition when you're a new band starting off. But now we're all doing it. We're not. There's no competition at all. We're all. It's a real camaraderie. It's a spirit of collaboration, and we're just like a
Yeah.
big, huge '80s happy family traveling around having fun and making other people have fun too. So it's great.
Hmm.
There's no pressure. The work has been done. There's no pressure anymore. So it's really enjoyable.
Can you imagine the Stones or McCartney doing a concert and not playing any of their old hits? I mean, people would say,
Yeah.
"What?" I mean, they still love the music, but it's like, where's all the other stuff? So,
Those guys are such an inspiration to me too. Because I mean, when I was a younger artist, I used to think that they should kind of move aside and let the younger generation sort of have their time on the stage, and now the longer they go at it, boy, the more I'm there applauding them. It gives me the confidence and the courage to keep going too. It's just to see these guys doing what they do and do so well. I mean, the Rolling Stones is still the greatest rock and roll band in the world, and McCartney's songs are still, you're gonna have to get up pretty early to write better songs than he wrote. So it's really inspiring.
yeah. Did those guys inspire you when you were, getting into
Oh
music?
yeah, oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I was a child of the '70s. I grew up in the '70s, so I mean, the Beatles were my main sort of. They were my main mentors when I was writing songs. I mean, I still write songs based on the Beatles songbook. Like my structure of my songs are all sort of very sort of Beatlesque. They might not sound like it, but they're
Right.
structured the same way. You've got your verse, your chorus, your second verse, second chorus, middle eight, third verse. It's a classic structure that they used, and so I mean, that's how I learned how to write songs.
Yeah.
Was
Huh.
listening to them.
Now, this song, where can people hear I Love the '80s to start with?
Well, it's on YouTube, it's on Spotify, you can buy it at Apple Music. It's on all the streaming programs, platforms. And if they go to safetydance.com, there's a link tree there that'll take them anywhere they want to go, and they can buy a T-shirt too on the way too. And so
Yeah.
it's that's it. Safetydance.com is the one-stop shopping for all things Men Without Hats. So it's
Great.
but we've been having great response. It's been great.
Yeah. And just in case somebody, I mean, I think I know the story, but I've heard the story, whether it's the actual story, but how did you come up with the name of Men Without Hats?
Well, like I say, we grew up in Montreal, and the winters are pretty harsh up there. But my brothers and we kind of refused to wear toques or hats in the winter. So that's where we used to say that real men don't wear hats. Uh, that's how the Men Without Hats sort of legend began.
Now, you've got a new album coming out, not for a little while, but mid-October, I understand.
That's it. Yeah.
And what can we expect? Of course, I Love the 80s is on it, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah. So there's 7 or 8 new songs. I think there's 7 new songs and an old live song. And the album's called Men Without Hats on the Moon. And it'll be out on vinyl as well. It'll be out a couple of different formats, but vinyl will definitely be one of them.
Great.
And yeah.
Now, some of those songs, are they similar to the sound of I Love the 80s, or
they're all pretty much 80s influenced songs. We decided a while ago we're not going to try and reinvent the wheel at this point in our career. We're going to do what we're good at, and that's what people like anyway. It's they enjoy the sound of Men Without Hats and the 80s sound. So yeah, a lot of they're all very, very 80s sounding songs.
You have, or I don't know if you've done it, or are coming up a cruise, 80s cruise. Is that correct?
That's next March, I think it is, February or March. Yeah.
Oh,
it'll be our second time on the cruise. It's quite a blast, actually. It's with first of all the bands that are performing. There's some great band. Gary Newman's going to be there this year.
Wow.
And last time there was, I mean, it wasn't, it was all kinds. There was Cheap Trick. We played with Cheap Trick, Men at Work, Debbie Gibson, Tiffany. I mean, it was Howard Jones was there last time. There was like and this time it's going to be another dozen great bands and touring around the Caribbeans, and it's
that's rough. Huh?
Yeah, no, the fans have a great time. They get to meet their favorite bands, and everybody's great. Everybody was super respectful, and the food was great, and the weather was great. It was just a great time. The shows were great. It's great.
Hey there, Debbie Gibson here, and I'm on Screen and Beyond.
Now, do you get time to relax when you're on that? Do you get to mingle with the people too, or?
Oh yeah, definitely.
I didn't know if you flew in, they popped you off and dropped you off at another place, and then you flew back home. I wasn't sure.
No, last time we flew in, we spent 6 or 7 days on the boat, but we were lucky. We did 2 shows. Every band does at least 2 shows, and we did 2. But our 2 were right at the beginning, so we got to play right away, and then we had 5 days of holiday, and
nice.
And there's all kinds of things. There was MTV VJs were there, and so that you have. They do live sort of interviews with a crowd, where there's a crowd, and there's meet and greets and Q&As, and every day I would take a couple of times a day take a stroll around the boat and meet the fans and have pictures taken and sign autographs, and no, it was all very, very pleasant. It was really nice.
Takes you right back to the 80s when was it more hectic back then, though? I mean, were people chasing you as opposed to just talking to you?
Yeah, it was like, I remember MTV pretty much changed my life. I went to being pretty much unknown to having a hard time walking down the street, and but one funny story that I like to tell though is we landed in Heathrow in London, England once. We were going to go do some mixing for one of our albums, and we get off the plane, and I'm walking down the corridor in the airport, and all of a sudden we see this mass of women screaming, running towards me. And my brother and I, we kind of look at each other and we kind of tense up, and they get close and they run right by us, and they attack Barry Manilow, who was about 10
Oh,
feet
gee.
behind us. So, sometimes you think you're bigger than you are, but he
Jeez.
deserved it.
Wow. So now you've got a European tour coming up. How soon does that one start?
Where it starts in mid-August. We have a few American dates, a few Canadian dates before that lead up to it. And then we head to the UK. We do a week or two in the UK, then Europe, mainland Europe, and then Scandinavia. And then we come back and finish off in the States. We have a few more shows in the States. We do Florida and a couple of other places on the East Coast. And this tour ends up in Mexico in Cancun. So at an
Nice.
80s in the Sand festival,
Wow.
which is similar to the cruise, but in a in a in a resort on the beach. So it's also very nice.
Wow. That's great. Jeez. You guys sounds like you guys are busy.
We have been busy since I tell you, since I put the band back together, we've done 100 times more shows than we did back in the 80s. We've been busy. We've been on the road nonstop, and we've visited a lot more places than we did back then. This time out, I've been to South Africa, to Australia, South America, places I never got to the first time around. So it's been great. We've been having a great time.
Yeah. Now, when you're in the other countries, is your reception as big as it is when you're in the United States, or more?
Oh yeah, it is like South Africa. We got a huge reception there. We headlined the festival because the song was Safety Dance was number one for like 10 weeks or something like that down there. And Australia, the same thing. We went to Australia, and crowds went nuts. It was awesome.
If you hadn't done this, you said you were trying to be a lawyer. Was there anything else that you had even thought about doing if you didn't do the lawyer thing and you didn't do this?
I don't know. I don't know. I've always been artistically sort of inclined too, so there might have been a career for me somewhere in the design world or something like that.
Yeah. But
It
luckily
might.
you decided to stay in this, and we we get some great music from you.
Yeah, no, this I enjoy this thoroughly. I love performing. I love being on stage. I love being in the studio. It's a good fit.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, do you do a lot of the production? Did you, I'm sure you have a producer, but are you involved a lot with the making of the songs and things like that?
I am. I do a lot of the arrangements on my own before I go into studio. I do pretty elaborate demos before I actually go and record them. But it's always fun to work with a producer because it's great to get another sort of another idea of what your songs should sound like. It's good to get another set of ears in there to help you out with things, and especially on this song, Brian Howes did quite a bit of work on the I Love the 80s, and I mean it sounded the same as my demo, but it had like quite a few changes that he made that were much appreciated, very good.
Yeah. I always wondered, I mean, not knowing, never being in the business or anything like that. I was always the DJ playing the music, but I never was the one that was doing that. But I was always wondered what the producer did. I mean, did they really change a lot? Of course, George Martin must have done a lot of different things with the people that he worked with. But
Yeah.
I just didn't, because I'm sure you go in with your idea of what you want. You know what the song is.
Hmm. Well, Brian, for example, changed the structure of the song a bit. He tightened up a lot of things. He tightened up the intro to the song, and he changed a few lyrics that he thought didn't work, and he suggested a few that actually worked really well. He sort of came up with the idea for the middle eight with the Pop Goes the World sort of sing along in the middle eight,
Hmm.
where I had a completely other idea. My idea was I had actually put guitar solos from famous, like the guitar solo from Beat It and the guitar solo
Ah,
from, three or four different easily recognizable guitar solos.
yeah.
And he liked the idea, but he said, "Here, I got a better idea." And his idea was better, worked a lot better. Just things like that, and the sound wise, he really came up with a lot of good ideas to make it sound like the '80s. He knew the gear that we needed. He knew the drum sounds that we needed, keyboards that we needed, and everything like that.
Yeah.
So
I know when I was researching you, did some of the, did you use old equipment that you used back in the 80s for
we
this one,
did.
or was it for another album I'm thinking
We
of?
did. We do. I still have some of the gear that I used back then, and one of the main keyboards, a sequential circuit Prophet 5 that I still have that we used on the Safety Dance recording. We used on the I Love the '80s as well, and so that really brings back the sonically. It brings it back to what it was. It's really cool.
Yeah, that's great because, like you say, it brings back memories and
It
people are
does.
going to know it. They're going to recognize it.
It does. It does. It's music is a time travel. So it's and whether it's lyrically or musically or just the sort of the essence of what's going on, it brings people back, and
Mhm.
and in this case it's people are really enjoying it. There's enough references, '80s references in the song to sort of make people smile and remember where they were, so it's good.
Yeah. Yeah. Music does that. There's no question about that. You'll hear a song and you'll remember it when a certain thing in your life happened, or,
Yeah,
they just brings back memories. I don't know why music does that to us, but it does.
yeah. One thing I like too, also, that a lot of fans tell me that the music got them through hard times too, and like that they were going through. It's not all fun and games, like I said, and that some people had, were going through tough times, but listening to Safety Dance kind of brought them out of their sadness and made them smile a bit, and so that also gives us that's a good reason for us to keep doing what we do. It's that
Yeah.
really keeps us going too. It adds to our enjoyment of the whole thing.
Well, Ivan, I want to finish up with one final question. But before we get into that question, I just want to encourage people to go and look up I Love the '80s. Be sure to check that out and be ready for your new album. And if you're out, whether in the United States or Mexico or Europe, wherever they are, to be sure to catch a concert, have a good time at that. But when you sit back and relax, and it doesn't sound like you have much time because you're always all over the world, but when you do, what do you enjoy for movies and TV? What are your favorite movies and TV shows now and of the past?
Well, I'm a big science fiction fan, so I enjoy science fiction movies, and just like the Alien franchise, and the Terminator franchise, which we reference in our song, and
Yes.
I'm a big sci-fi fan. So anything that's got to do with the future or time traveling, or I'm there. I'm on
Yeah.
board.
Right. One of the sci-fi, when you talk about sci-fi, I like sci-fi too, but I go back older. I'm older than you, so I'm going back to the day the earth stood still, the original, that type of thing. I like those.
Yeah,
Those are good.
yeah.
Yeah. What about TV?
Well, TV. I mean, I watch. What was the recent? I just finished watching the Godfather of Harlem with Forrest Whitaker.
Yeah.
Uh, it was a that was good. I watch Netflix. I mean, TV is it's kind of hard to follow. There's so much going on,
Yeah.
but
What
like you
about,
say, I don't have much time to to
yeah.
to watch.
What
So
about when you were a kid? What did you grow up enjoying?
Well, same thing as everybody else. I mean, watching the Flintstones for lunch and the Beverly Hillbillies when I got home from school, and Gilligan's Island.
Yep.
Just watching. Just it was such a great era for TV. It was just so crazy, So
Mm. Yeah.
Green Acres, all the regular shows.
Mm. Well, Ivan, I cannot thank you enough for taking the time to share with us and let us in on your new song, I Love the 80s. Everybody should be listening to that. Your new album that's going to come out, Men Without Hats. What'd you say, on the Moon?
On the Moon.
How'd
Yep.
you come up
Men
with
Without
On the
Hats
Moon? What?
Just off the top of my head.
Off the top of your head. Okay. Well, thank you so much for sharing with us, and good luck with the tour and the songs.
Well, thank you very much. Great talking to you.
And many thanks to Ivan Doroschuk of Men Without Hats for sharing his story with us. So keep an eye out for his upcoming concerts, his new album this fall. And Men Without Hats on the Moon is the name of it, like he said. And the new single, it's out right now, I Love the 80s. Also, the 80s cruise that he's going to be taking part with. And that's coming up in 2026. A lot of things going on for Ivan. And sounds like a lot of fun. So be sure to check it out. Well, we once again, if you have any suggestions for a guest here at On Screen and Beyond, help me out, okay? Because I can't think of everybody, and a lot of people come up with some good suggestions, and sometimes I can find them, sometimes I can't, but I'll do my best. So be sure to send your suggestions to feedback@onscreenandbeyond.com or anything else that you want to chat about. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts, and be sure to tell a friend so they too can enjoy some of their favorite TV, movie, and music stars as we head to the end of our 18th season on Screen and Beyond. Now, I'm going to be going on vacation this week, so we'll see what happens there as far as if I get anything else out, but I will be back. And that's it. That's a wrap for this episode of On Screen and Beyond. So until next time, when we once again take you on screen and beyond, I'm Brian Zemrak. Take care.